Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels, working incredibly hard, climbing the ladder, but feeling like you're not actually getting anywhere meaningful? Well, today we're diving into a story that I think a lot of us can relate to. It's a journey from feeling, as he put it, as poor as a church mouse, all the way to building a lasting legacy. It's about the paths we're told to take, what happens when they crumble, and maybe, just maybe, how to start building your own.
So, the man whose story we're following grew up as a pastor's son. And this right here, this was a common joke in the church. But imagine hearing that over and over again. It's not just a joke, is it? It becomes a mindset. It drilled into him this idea that being pious meant being poor. This one little phrase really shaped his entire worldview, and it sent him on a mission to find a different path, one that didn't equate goodness with being broke. So, with that fire in his belly to escape poverty, he did exactly what most of us are taught to do. He found the biggest, shiniest ladder he could, and he started to climb. This was the playbook, right? The same one a lot of us get handed. Study hard, get that good job, put in the hours, and bam, happily ever after. And you know what? For a long time, it really seemed like it was working for him. And I mean, he didn't just follow the playbook, he aced it. He got the degrees, tacked on an MBA. He moved up from a solid government job to a seriously high-powered role analyzing huge companies. Then his career just exploded at the SA Housing Trust, where he was managing a department with assets worth hundreds of millions. From the outside looking in, he had absolutely made it. And this is where the story takes a sharp turn. After 12 years of grinding, of climbing, he had this soul-crushing realization. He reached the top, he looked around, and he discovered his ladder was propped up against the completely wrong wall. This is such a critical point. The success that everyone else sees doesn't mean a thing if it's not the success you wanted.
Okay, so what happens when that ladder you've poured your life into doesn't just lean against the wrong wall, but it suddenly breaks? For him, it wasn't a little crack. It was a complete and total collapse.
The crisis hit him like a 1-2 punch. First, he took a leap of faith, left the corporate grind to start his own brick company, and it failed, spectacularly, within a year. All of a sudden, at 32 with 2 young kids, he was jobless, buried in debt, and surviving on the money his wife was making from a side hustle. Then, after he managed to claw his way back into a big corporate job, the political situation changed and he was laid off. His ladder wasn't just on the wrong wall, it was kicked right out from under him. This whole experience plunged him deep into what he now defines as stage 1 of this journey, struggle. The math is just brutal, isn't it? Your income minus your expenses equals a negative number. But it's the emotional toll that really gets you, that constant, heavy feeling of hopelessness. He fell into what he calls quiet desperation. Can you even imagine that shock? Everything he'd worked for his entire life, the degrees, the perfect CV, the promotions, it all felt like it was for nothing. And he had this stunning realization he had only ever built a resume, hoping that someone else would find him useful. And now, they didn't.
But it's often right there, at rock bottom, that the biggest breakthroughs happen. For him, the turning point didn't come from a book or a seminar. It happened, unexpectedly, over a single weekend. So he's in this deep funk, and he reluctantly goes with his wife to a business function for her network marketing company, Neolife. He went in as a total skeptic, just tagging along. But what he saw there, it just flipped a switch in his brain. He heard these incredible stories from other professionals, doctors, lawyers, farmers, who were building something for themselves, completely on their own terms. And this is the absolute key. For the first time ever, he saw a way to create something that nobody could take away from him. Not a new boss, not a political change, nothing. He saw a path to build a real, tangible legacy for his family. And just like that, his why became crystal clear. And we all know when your why is strong enough, the how becomes a whole lot easier to figure out. So, with this newfound purpose, he started building a totally different kind of ladder. This time, he was building his own ladder. And the journey was filled with discipline and a few more hard-learned lessons. He didn't just wish for it. He put in the work. I'm talking a grueling 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. schedule every single day on top of his day job. He found mentors, which is so crucial. The business grew. It went international. But look at step 4, another failure. He started an entrepreneurial group that in the end had to be shut down. But even that failure taught him a priceless lesson. For anything to last,
Every single person involved has to take personal responsibility. Through this whole process of building, failing, and learning, his entire definition of success got a complete overhaul. It wasn't about the big house or the fancy car anymore. True success, he figured out, is having choices. It's the freedom that comes from building multiple, sustainable sources of income. So how did all these random, disconnected pieces, the corporate world, the failed businesses, the new venture, how did they all fit together? Well, he explains it with this beautiful metaphor he calls the doily principle.
I mean, just look at this career path. Academia, corporate, network marketing, another business venture, an international chamber. On paper, it looks like he's all over the place, right? Each one was a different path he walked down until the door closed and he had to start again. It looks like a series of disjointed, disconnected dots. He asks us to imagine these experiences like the tips of your fingers when you spread your hand out. They don't touch, they're not connected. And when you look at your own life, sometimes it's easy to feel that way, like nothing makes sense, like you've failed to write a coherent story. But here's the magic of the doily principle. He says to imagine picking up the skin on the back of your hand, right from the center. And what happens? All the points, all your fingertips get pulled together. They connect. That central point, that's your purpose. It's the force that reveals how every single experience, the good and the bad, was actually a necessary thread in a beautiful, intricate design. Finding that purpose led him to his core message. He realized so many of us are trapped in this one-generational mindset. It's all about me, my, and I for now. It's short-term thinking. He contrasts that with a three-generational mindset, where you're not just thinking about your own success. You make decisions today with the goal of building a legacy that benefits your children and even your children's children. And really, this whole journey from struggle to significance leaves all of us with a pretty powerful question to chew on. Your life up to this very moment, that's just the first chapter. All the pages from here on out are blank. So the real question is, who's holding the pen? Are you writing your own story, or are you letting someone else write it for you?